All right. Welcome to the Low Value Man Show. I am your host, Devin Manhandles, and I'm here to manhandle you ladies and tell you what you don't want to hear from a low value man's perspective. And a disclaimer, I'm not really a low value man, but I've been a low value man. Um, and so I kind of understand what that was, or what that is, or how we're perceived, or how we move, right? A lot of us, one benefit that I've had, just a background on me, I was raised in a household with two parents until the age of 12. When the divorce happened, my mother left. We stayed with my father in the house. At 17, me and my father couldn't see eye to eye, threw me out, was homeless at 17. But what differentiated me from a lot of my friends was that, I was raised by my dad. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers, because most of my friends in that day, we most everybody had both parents in the house, which is interesting. But so anyway, not to beat you down with all of that. But once I was put out, I had to survive on the other side of town. I had to survive in the hood. I had to become one of them. And now these are the guys and some of the guys I ran with on that side of town. Those were the single family houses. Those were the homes with drug addicts and drug abusers and, fathers and uncles and everybody in prison and just that whole ghetto life. So I had to fight and claw my way up from there. And, I took some steps back, made some progress, took some risks, had some fails. So that's who I am. And I guess I understand the low value man. So yesterday's show from the OG Godfather, which was November 21st, I believe, a woman, one of the first callers, she said, I'm sick of dating down. I'm sick of dating down. I want a high value guy. What can I do? And that got me thinking about, and this woman who stated that she's a 5 on the looks scale, and looks is subjective because he put her on camera. She kind of had a weird looking face, but it looked like she had maybe a decent body. She said she was a size 3 dress, which was good. So I think this is a woman who knows she has a nice figure. It looked like she had nice breasts. She probably has a decent backside. So she knows she has a cute body that probably gives her a lot of attention for that. Her face is not that sharp though, right? So she jumped straight over the men in the middle. The black men who are I won't say minimum wage, but who are middle class guys. They're making less than 100K. They're probably making anywhere between 65 and 80,000, 90,000. Regular guys. Some of these guys will probably, they probably don't have the body of a Greek god. They might be a little frumpy. They might not have the best fashion sense. Some of them might even be a little geeky or dorky. Some of them are just regular guys, just guys who maybe go too long in between haircuts. These are the guys, the invisible men, the men in the middle. And from what I've been hearing from the few months I've been listening to the High Value Man show, I never hear about these guys in the middle. Godfather, he mentions them. He mentions how, 60% of black men are in the middle class, as well as 65% of black men are unmarried and don't have any children. So these men, this is proof of the invisibility of these men. And when you hear women talk, and this woman was proof of this, and when you listen to divest channels and women's help channels, they speak of the low value men, the dusties, and then they go straight over to high value men. And often they don't want to date black women. They want women of other races, but they never talk about the men in the middle. And one thing Godfather talks about, which I think people really need to pay attention to, is that women control sex, men control access to relationships. This is very true. So what women tend to do is pick from the best of the low. They'll pick a man who he could be out of prison for 6 months, but he looks good. His body is in shape. He has swag. He knows how to dress. He's on top of his haircuts. They'll date this guy over a guy who might be a bit frumpy, but he's been working at the cable company for the past 8 years. He's making $75,000. He's the kind of man who will actually coach the kids on the weekend for Little League and football and basketball. He's a guy who's not going to be running the streets looking to screw and bang, every skirt that walks by. He's a genuinely good man with responsible tendencies. He's invisible in the conversation. No one talks about him. No one advocates for him. The man in the middle, the invisible man, they don't even see. And when you listen to these channels, I never hear women talk about this guy. And often when a woman, I'm a man in the middle. When one of these women dates us, they approach us almost like they're doing us a favor. I dated this one woman, and she was actually a year older than me, but she was like she was real short, not like stupid short, but she was shorter than average. Her body was where it needed to be, and this is what attracted me to her. And I'm very confident, so of course, I was able to bag her. But as we got into the relationship, she's telling me about the white men she dated, and how they all how the women at her office can't stand her because she dresses so sexy, and like that type of thing. If you know that type of woman, you know that type of woman. And because she couldn't find success in the dating field that she was at, I'm thinking she's thinking she was dating down for me, like almost doing me a favor. And her attitude and just how she was, turned me off. When I first met her, I was like, wow, I really want that woman in my bed. Like, let me find out who this woman is and let me see what's going on. And as we started dating and hanging out, it was a turnoff. But it gave me an understanding into her and her world and women like her. Some of these corporate types, some of these swirler types who actually, they look at dating outside their race as a prize. Like, she's telling me this, like, oh, white men like me, and this Italian man proposed to me, and that story ended up being like he was like crazy and stalking and all this other stuff. So often when some of you women do date, like you say, okay, all right, I'm going to listen to my mother. I'm going to date Jared, the guy. They say he's a good guy, right? You guys kind of reluctantly go date the man in the middle. When you do, and you approach it and you put all your negative shit on that guy. You put all the negative shit and pain from, the Morris Chestnuts of the hood who you used to date, who never quite claimed you as his girl and would borrow your car and messed up your money and blew your credit and you co-sign for him, and then all the drama, struggle, love, you put it on the good guy when you try to date him, and then eventually either he'll reject you or that relationship becomes very toxic. Or most of you don't see him at all. You say, I'm tired of struggle, love. I want a high value man. No, the man in the middle, the invisible man, it's like the Bronx tale. The working man's a sucker. And De Niro's character said, no, the working man is the tough guy. It's hard to get up and go to work. It's hard to deal with real responsibilities. It's easy to steal from people and cheat people and use your power to abuse people. That's easy. That's a weak man's way to live. So what I kind of want to get across to the sisters is the high value thing is not for everybody. All right. Especially high value. Now you have to separate high value from high earners. There's high earners who are not high value. Right. So you do have your tech guys and your developers and coders, guys who make, anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 a year. But these are the guys, like, honestly, some of you women have to realize that you don't want that guy for a reason. Like, I wouldn't steer you, if he's a tech guy and he has what you're looking for as far as personality and, quote unquote swag and this type of thing, I say that's great. Go for it. But if this guy's a straight geek, don't destroy his life trying to date him just because he makes $130,000. You don't like him. You wouldn't naturally date him. There might be a man in the middle who's your natural counterpart, who has some of the same sensibilities that you have, who likes some of the stuff. I mean, do you really want to go to the Comic-Con convention if you're not really into that? Do you really want to watch anime and K-pop if you're really not into that? Like, a lot of sisters, you guys will bend and you'll make a way, and you guys try to support us, but there's possibly a limit to that. So when you see how this narrative is framed, a lot of it is framed around money and this whole idea of money. And in some of the shows you see me that I'm going to produce, I'm going to teach you how to get around that, how to change the focus on money and switch the focus to a more critical thinking way of plotting and planning your life. Because Godfather is given great information, excellent information, but there's still some things that are missing. A lot of women who speak about, the dating scene and these things, they're really giving sisters bad information. I see this on Twitter and on just all you gotta do is go on social media. You see a sister take a picture, she's overweight, she has on a skirt, and all the women go in the comments and you're giving her hearts and you look good. Like, you're lying to her. Men, we don't like that. And then you got the brothers who go in there and give her hearts and say they like her just to, make her feel good. We want to be nice, but it's not a real thing. So often sisters are led astray that way. And another way the women are being led astray is by the divest movement. That movement, that ideology is, if you notice, it's always morphing and changing because it's not real. And one thing you don't see success stories. This has been a movement for at least 10 years now, and you're not seeing all the success stories. You have some sisters who could date white guys left and right, But like Kevin says, you're judged by marriage, by successful marriages. And if you're in a place where you feel that black men are less than and you need to go get a white man, that's kind of a bad place to start. Uh, that's not, that's like a wicked way to think. And even that movement now, you see them talking about, just be the best for you. And one thing I noticed when that movement first started, it was a woman, she posted like 10 ways to get a white man. And it was like, she just listed a bunch of things that black men have already been saying. It was like, take the weave out, get rid of the attitude, be adventurous, don't argue, be open to new things. It's like, wow. So that's, so I'm saying, listen, we're not working out because I don't like your weave. I don't like your attitude. You're not that supportive. You're not adventurous. You love to argue. Da 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 da. This is why we're not making it together. And then you say, fuck you, I'm going to go get a white man. But in order for me to catch this white man, I'm going to take this weave out. I'm going to get rid of all this ridiculous makeup. I'm going to dress different. I'm going to switch my attitude. I'm not going to argue. I'm going to be more adventurous. So it's like, hold up. Let's try to be the best version of ourselves first, and then see what we could attract. Not to say that brothers don't need work, because a lot of brothers, sisters, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I really do. And it's some of it is just that there is choice for black men. We do have a lot of choice, and a lot of us do not want to settle down completely. And sisters don't want to share. So, but they do. They do share. All these, sexual arrangements you guys have with men who are not your boyfriend or committed to you. You're sharing. It's just how and then the disease is spread throughout the sisters. Like, it's bad. Black women, you really need to think in a full totality of really how great you are, like your full greatness. And you need to understand when somebody's pandering to you and when they're not really telling you what's real. To tell you to throw away black men is they're basically telling you to throw away your race. And if you don't have a commitment to your race, you're really useless as a person. Because I'll tell you this, from a low value man's perspective, when the shit goes down and when it gets to, when things get critical, everything is going to boil down to race. Everything's going to boil down to your tribe. So you might want to fool yourself, as we see right now, how shaky our country is, the foundations of our government is, with a dictator in office. Your tribe is very important. Not to say you can't love and make a life with someone outside your race. That's fine. I just feel that those relationships should be a little more organic. And if you got a white guy fetish and you happen to make it happen, I don't blame you for that either. Like, some guys will say, oh, because of the media and this and that and da-da-da-da, they're promoting this white men, and their whole life they seen the white man as a savior and a superhero and this and that. And yeah, some young girls, they grew up watching that. The Disney shows and the Nickelodeon shows, the little boys, a little heartthrob, and the Bieber, and just their whole life this white guy's been promoted. And now they're a woman. They had some bad experiences with black guys, and they sell this white man as a savior and scandal, and they have a little fetish for a white guy. Well, it ain't her fault. If she could get that white guy and that gratifies her, I say go for it. I really can't knock you for that, because outside influences have come upon you. You didn't ask for it. It's just, that's what happened. So there you go, live your life. So long as it's not something that's toxic and you don't find yourself in a, well, listen, if you find yourself in a relationship that's based on fetishizing, well, hey, that's on you too. If it's toxic and you stay in it, I mean, there's plenty of toxic relationships. Race is just not the only thing that makes a relationship toxic. But if you really want to do the work and try to find a way to have a healthy relationship, I think there's some things that sisters could look out for, because you do hold the trump card. But you have to understand when somebody is courting you to make you their sexual friend with benefit, i.e. parasite, who's parasitic and who's destructive, or a mellow-toned man in the middle who will actually want to be with you and love you and respect you and create a family and raise that family. That's what you need to, those are the critical skills that you really need to hone in on, because most women, you're women in the middle. You're not the hot chick, but you're not the ghetto smut. You're in the middle, but you're being sold to try to, go for the highest thing. And it's all this self-righteous, get what I want and you could have everything and don't settle and all this stuff that's, what do you mean don't settle? We all settle into where we're at. Like we all have to find our level. That's not settling. That's being where you're at, being smart. You can't go to the car lot with $100 saying I want this Mercedes and I'm not going to settle, and all I have is $100. That's, at some point, it's foolishness. Don't fall for it. Don't be fooled. So that's my show. I'm not going to sing Broke Earth today, but maybe the next show I'll sing Broke Earth. I'm not in the singing mood. And check me out. Support this low value content. Get on the low value man train. Get some of this low value man talk. Get some of this low value man love. Get some of this low value man, intelligence. Come and get it. I'm serving up plenty of low value man content. So let's see. I'll probably do another show Monday after Godfather comes back, but I'm low value, so it might be 3 months from now. Who the hell knows? All right. Peace.